everybody, and welcome back to 5 on Friday, CEENTA's live question and answer session. We're joined today by Dr. Michael Falcone, who practices in our university office. Dr. Falcone, thank you for joining us.
It is my pleasure, and I'm happy to entertain some questions that were submitted on Facebook by some of our patients and friends. The first question that was submitted was, what can we do for puffy eyes caused by allergies? Honestly, I'd like to start by saying that many people may not be aware that doctor comes from the Latin word docere, which means to teach. And I think that this is particularly pertinent when it comes to taking care of patients for their allergies, because you have to teach patients about them because you really need their help in order for them to do well. As it comes to just allergies in general, there are 3 ways of treating them. The first is to avoid the things that you're allergic to. Well, in order to avoid the things that you're allergic to, you kind of have to know what you're allergic to. And this will certainly be relevant to puffy eye symptoms caused by allergies. Number 2 will be allergy medicines. And then number 3 is immunotherapy, which means allergy shots or allergy drops. When it comes to avoiding the things that you're allergic to, for instance, if you have pets, I have many patients that have pets that they are allergic to. If you touch your pet and then you touch your eyes, obviously that's going to contribute to your symptoms. And so there are things like, for instance, not that you can't pet your pet, but that you want to make sure that you wash your hands after doing so. You'd be surprised how often you incidentally just touch your eye without even knowing that you're doing it. Maybe you have an itch or what have you. But when people have puffy allergy eyes, they often have itchy allergy eyes as well. And so then when something itches, you scratch it. So then you're even more inclined to touch your eyes. If you're allergic to pollens and you spend a good bit of time outside, again, you want to make sure that you wash your hands before you touch your eyes. And lastly, if you're somebody that's a contact lens wearer, you should be doing this anyway, but you should be washing your hands before you put your contacts in or taking them out, because if you have allergens on them and you touch your eyes, then obviously that's going to worsen your symptoms. When it comes to allergy medicines used to treat these eye symptoms, certainly a systemic antihistamine, something like an allergy pill, meaning that obviously it can address potentially all of your allergy symptoms. It can also address your eye symptoms. Obviously, allergy eye drops can help, but you want to try to avoid eye drops that are purely just addressing the redness of the eye. These can be very habit-forming and really aren't getting at the underlying problem. In general, I wouldn't recommend nasal sprays simply for taking care of eye symptoms. It's hard to kind of link how taking a nasal spray would alleviate eye symptoms, but obviously they can be very effective for alleviating nasal symptoms. And then lastly, some people would do allergy immunotherapy, meaning shots or allergy drops, in order to help address these symptoms as well. The next question was somebody had concerns about that their throat itches and they cough when the humidity is very high. And I think that what this is probably a marker of is that they're obviously not allergic to humidity, but during those more humid times, that also can have an implication as to what may be blooming. So there's going to be certain times of day, if you ever, I'm sure, either watching the news or following pollen levels on your phone, when there are certain weather changes, that helps to support a more favorable environment for whether it be pollens or molds to just flourish, and then that can also aggravate your symptoms. And certainly cough can be a common symptom associated with allergies, and so can obviously throat itching. The next question is, I used to get summer allergies, but now it seems like they last until October or November. Do I have fall allergies too? That's certainly a possibility. It is not unheard of for people that maybe never had allergies before to suddenly develop allergies over time. I myself am an example of that. I was never allergic to cats as a child, but at some point in my adulthood I developed cat allergies, which frankly is fine with me because I'm a dog person, so it works out well in our home that we don't have to get a cat. No offense to cat people, but it works out well in our house. The next question is, my allergies feel like they're getting worse every year. Is this true, or am I imagining things? That is certainly a possibility. People's conditions could worsen, but this may be another example of that. It may be a marker of what is really going on is that you've just been dealing with them for such a long time and not adequately treating them. You can imagine that whether you have a cold or some other chronic illness, when it first starts, you kind of go with the flow and it's like, okay, well, these symptoms, they're not great, but I'm not dying either. But just even if those symptom severity stays constant over time, it just wears on you. Not only does it affect you in your work life and in your just daily living in general, but under controlled allergies can also affect your sleep, and then if you're not sleeping well, then you also have chronic fatigue, and so it can affect you in a lot of ways, even though the severity of the allergy itself may not have changed, but it certainly can take its toll on you over time. The next question is, I have never had allergies, but I've been feeling stuffy and my eyes have been watering lately. Can you develop allergies as an adult? And as I mentioned, I kind of answered this question in one of the earlier questions, but certainly it's possible to develop allergies into adulthood. It's also possible that as a child you could have allergies and then they seem to just go away later. Just to explain a little bit about other ways that you can potentially get rid of your allergies. Allergy immunotherapy does have the potential of curing people of their allergies. It's something that can take time. The experts say it typically takes anywhere from 3 to 5 years of doing allergy shots or drops in order to hopefully expect a cure from your allergies. Now, that being said, we understand the science behind how allergy shots help people with their allergy symptoms, but what really isn't clear is how allergy shots can cure people of their allergies. There are some patients that can do the allergy shots for 3 to 5 years and they come off of them and their symptoms are gone. But then there are other patients that, despite doing allergy shots for 3 to 5 years, when they try to come off, their symptoms return. So,
well, that's all the time we have today for 5 on Friday. We'd like to again thank you, Dr. Falcone, for joining us.
thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. If we didn't get to your question or you asked a question during the live session, we will be answering those in a blog on our website. Keep an eye out on our social media for a link to that blog and for announcements about future 5 on Fridays. If you would like to make an appointment with Dr. Falcone or any of our other ENT doctors, you can call 704-295-3000 or visit our website at wejustmakesense.com. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.